Okay.
Okay.
Amazing. So it's always too long. It's always been too long. No matter
Yeah.
however often we speak, it's never enough.
Yeah. And I'm
Um,
still, at today because we were corresponding and I was at our birthday party. So I told my friends about you and how you created our family tree and how amazing it was when we came to Kansas City and found a huge group of relatives that we didn't know
right.
existed.
And you in particular, I mean, you grew up with a very small family, only child.
Yes.
You only had your two aunts really, right? And
Yeah.
no cousins.
Well, I
I
didn't.
mean, no first cousins.
Well, actually, there were
Oh,
cousins of my dad's sister
okay, on your debt. Yeah.
who lived in. Yeah, they were Sabras.
Right.
We knew about them because my dad
Right,
corresponded
right.
with
But you
them.
didn't grow up with them. Like
No,
Zipporah and
no.
Dahlia, they were in Israel.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes. I didn't know anyone. And also, I now, not now, but even then, I thought how my dad had that courage to still corresponding with the American relative and with Israeli sister, and KGB didn't caught him, didn't catch him, didn't persecute him because it was amazing.
Was it luck or did he have a system? Did he write in code or secrets or
Uh, I think because he corresponded in Hebrew or maybe Yiddish, and in Odessa, they were not very, I believe, um, intelligent enough to realize what it is. And I don't know, or maybe it was luck.
and maybe he also didn't share a lot of like sensitive information.
Absolutely not. It was absolutely not because, first of all, he didn't know any sensitive information.
No, but even like when he wanted to leave, maybe he didn't share that he was looking to until the very end.
Yeah, that's for sure. And then he was not the one who initiated it legally, it was us. So he was just a part of the family who decided to leave. Because we wanted to leave in the 70s when the Iron Curtain just opened a little bit and some people sneaked out, but we couldn't, and then it just shut down for a lot of years. And the first possibility we took, we just left.
And so your father was the one that corresponded with all the outside family.
Yes, but also he listened to Voice of Israel. I think it was in Yiddish, call Israel, something like that. And he even knew of that thing in 1953 that Jews were supposed to put into cattle wagons and deliver it somewhere to Siberia. He knew about that.
Wait, I don't know what is that? I don't know what that is.
Oh, okay. Let me tell you. It was when Stalin was still alive. It was in 1950s when he decided to get rid of all the Jewish outstanding people like actors and poets and writers, and they made up something that they were spies and agents of America, like this campaign. And then it was another campaign against the doctors, outstanding doctors who worked in the Kremlin. They said that they were trying to poison all the leaders of the party, and of course, in Russia, you didn't have any other information but the official one. So that was the preparation for this huge campaign of getting rid of the Jews. And my dad was listening to Israel, and they said, brothers and sisters, get ready, something terrible might happen, all that. And at that moment, Stalin passed away,
Mm.
and everything was, of course, canceled. So that's, but my dad was listening. I remember every night at about 8 o'clock, he would close the door to his bedroom and was listening to the radio religiously. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. And so tell me more about that process of leaving Russia, leaving the Soviet Union.
Um, well, because I don't know what you know, because later, when this was a massive exodus, they created Washington Processing Center that was carrying all the information. But before that, my husband went to American Embassy, and also
Where was in Moscow?
yes, yes. And
That's
he,
pretty far.
well, he took a train, and yeah,
And what
that's
year was this?
it was 88,
Mhm.
1988. And he made like an application there and handed the application with our names and date of births and all that. By that time, Sana was getting married to a guy whose relatives live in Australia. And Sana's mother in law decided that they should go to Australia. So they left before we did. But we couldn't do that because it was my father who was like 85 and my mother-in-law who was 80 by that time, and Australia would not accept us. So that's why we were separate from our daughter.
Mhm.
So we waited for something to happen. And finally, we got the invitation to an interview in Moscow. But it was a huge package because you have to go through some medical paperwork. You have to prove that you are not, you know, a burden to the country, um, because you are in an employable age and could bring some good things. And Julia was 16 by that time, so it was also a positive thing that she might be a good addition. And so it took us a lot of time to get ready because by that time I was still working at school as a teacher, and it's an ideological establishment. So I had to finish the school year, and then I left without telling that I'm going to leave the country because I didn't want them to know. Usually it takes like, they will make a whole brouhaha about it. And, betrayer, you betray your country, blah, blah, blah. They gave you education and things and that, and you are leaving it. So I decided to do it differently. I just finished the school year and left. And then at that time,
And this was again what year?
and this was already 1989. And at that time, the
How long had you been
situation,
at that school?
um, I started in 1969 in that school. So it was many years. And um, but that's another story because I was an English teacher, and it's an English magnet school. So you start teaching kids at the first grade, and then you go with them for 10 years, and then uh, they leave the school. And so some group of kids were so close to me because I was with them through all these years. Even now, some of them are my Facebook friends, and I know what's going on with them. Some are
Oh, that's so
in
nice.
Israel, some are in United States, some are still in Odessa. Yeah, but anyway, um, so we it took time to prepare all the documents. Plus, you have to have an invitation to leave the former Soviet Union, but the invitation has to come from the relatives, as if it's like a family reunion. So, of course, I think I talked to Tzipora. By that time, they already visited us in the Soviet Union. They came, Tzipora and Dalia came to visit, and it was a very nice reunion. We took
When did they
them.
come?
I think they came in 1989.
Hmm. Hmm.
So we took
Just the
them.
two of them?
Yes, we took them to visit in different, like Kishinev, where a part of our family lived, the Gureviches. Then we took them to Moscow, where another family lived, to St. Petersburg. So we tried to kind of get them
How
around
long
a
were they
little.
there?
There were probably around 20 days, I would say. I don't remember for
Short
sure.
trip, short.
But yeah, yeah. But it was very nice. And, it feels like a family, even though we never knew them personally, but it was like that. But my husband, at the same time, he worked as an engineer, and he took a mm, position of a chief of a department, engineering department. But he worked probably till the very last day. No one paid attention because there were so many Jews there. They just let them work. And another thing, in Russia, in the United States at that, in the USSR at that time, the political situation changed because Gorbachev came, and the whole thing kind of fell apart. We left; it was still USSR, but then pretty soon in '91, it all fell apart
Hmm.
completely.
Hmm.
Um,
And what year did you move?
We left April of 1991.
And who was the family that was coordinating on the United States side?
Well, what happened was it's a very interesting story because um, my husband's part of the family. They also they had some relatives in the United States, so they planned to leave as well. And my husband's cousin um, happened to be in the United States, in Kansas, and he was corresponding with us. And he wrote the address in Overland Park, Kansas. My dad corresponded with Fanny Cohn, whose address was, I don't remember, not Lenexa, something else. But we thought it's a different city, just the state. So finally, we decided we'll figure out where they live. So Zinovi, his name is Zinovi, he finally either called her or talked to her in person. I don't remember for sure, but he said to us, guys, it's the same city. It's just different parts of the city. So it was
Amazing.
amazing, amazing. And by that time, um, another part of it's my mother's in-law sister also moved to America. So it was like Fanny was trying to write an affidavit of support, and Clara, Fanny's sister, on her part, did that. And that kind of helped us because they had to invite you to Moscow to American Embassy for an interview. And that's what happened. We came to an interview, and it was, a very dramatic time because you never know whether you will receive a status of refugee or whether you will be denied. So we kind of hoped that um, will get the refugee status. But the interview was very easy and very formal because I didn't even
Who
have.
were you interviewing with?
It's in American Embassy. There was I don't know who,
Okay, so
some
you okay, yeah, okay.
in
Yeah.
Moscow.
But and so did at what point did the local authorities know that you were going to be immigrating?
You mean in Odessa?
Yeah.
Um, I think they knew when we had to, like, my husband had to give away his um, like a military book, that because he was supposed to be a part of in case a war breaks up. So everybody has that, every male. Then we had to have like a list of things that we have to give away, like mm, some we have to go through the electric company, the phone company, um, mm, the what it's called, the professional things. Um, so you have to complete all those things. And of course, they knew that we are going to leave the country. But by that time, we already have the stages. And it was just the time preparation for everything. Um,
And how long had you been actively working on getting out?
Well, it depends on what you count. If you start counting from 1988, when my husband went to American Embassy to fill out the application, till the actual living in April of 91. That's what it was. But it's hard to explain our living conditions because we had an apartment. There were like 2 rooms, and there were 5 people in those 2 rooms, like living together. It was not like bedrooms, and so we each use the room at night as our bedroom, but during the day it was whatever. But
Who are the 5 people?
my parents and
Mhm.
Roman, myself, and Julia, because Sana left by that time already. Before that, it was 6 of us.
Mhm.
But
And so can you just explain the apartment a little bit more, what those 2 rooms were?
okay, it was like one room, and adjusted to this room was another room. But one room was pretty big. So what my dad decided to do is to have it divided into 2 small rooms, so that we had some separate entity. But when Julia was born, it was like 4 of us: me, myself, me, Roman, Sana, and Julia. So what Roman did, he did it himself. He made a partition to divide the other room into. So that was our arrangement. But this is not all, because those rooms were part of a so-called communal living arrangement, because we have 2 other families that shared a hallway with us and one uh, little bathroom. And before that, there was no shower or um, no tub, nothing, and not even hot water. So those 2 families
So
have
how
their
did you
own.
bathe?
What?
How would you bathe? How would you shower?
Well, I'll tell you how. First of all, my dad um, arranged buying like a big thing that will be like electrical, um, mm, big kettle, and it provided hot water for us, just for us in our little arrangement. But the communal flat didn't do it. Later, when I think when Julia was already there, we had because this bathroom was kind of long, so he had it divided in 2 parts and created like a little shower, so we can use a
But it's
shower.
a
But
communal, it was a communal space.
that was a community thing,
So how
yes.
could he partition it?
Well, because they agreed for him to do it,
Hmm.
of course, because they could use it for free.
Oh, oh,
But
oh, oh, oh.
but before that, we use public baths. You don't know what it is because it's terrible. But that's
What is it?
well, uh, it's a facility where the women have a separate place, and male have their separate place. But all together, women were together, and they were given like a little tub, and there was hot and cold water, so they will come. There was some, a place where they change their clothes and go to that public bathroom.
How
And
far was that from you?
not far, couple of blocks from us. Yeah.
And you would just wait or you would sign up? How would you?
No, you just come, pay the money for entrance, and usually there were enough room for people to use it. But also, it
How
was,
often would you use it?
well, we used it for a long time, but then was it in late 80s, I guess, that Roman's cousin, Lena Kishinevsky, you probably met her.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, Her husband got a so-called cooperative flat. So they were given like 3 bedroom separate um, apartment with the kitchen, with the bathroom and shower. So because we were so friendly and so close, remember we had our houses built next to each other in Kansas. So we would go once a week. We would go all our family
Oh.
to them to have a bathroom, and we'll sit and we'll talk, and our kids are almost the same age, so it was very friendly, and
And how
that
far was that?
that was pretty far. We had to take a trolley bus to go there, but it didn't matter because
So what day of the week would you go?
usually on Saturday or Sunday.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
so back to the apartment.
that's our apartment.
So what about the rest of the space? Like what did you do for eating?
Well, it was inside because, as I said, one big one was divided into two. So in one in the middle was so-called kitchen where we would eat, and but the communal kitchen was outside where there was a gas stove.
Mhm.
So we use the gas stove to cook, but then we'll bring the dishes inside our little
So
room and eat.
there were two rooms in the apartment, and
Yeah,
they were bedrooms and also used for living and
yeah,
eating and things like that. So
yeah,
the communal kitchen was on the same floor as your apartment that you shared
yeah.
with like
It
two or
was
three other.
everything. It was everything on the same floor. We all lived on the third floor. Yes.
So there were two or three other families on that same floor that shared the
Yeah.
bathroom, shared the kitchen. Was
Yes.
there anything else that was a shared communal space?
Um, as I said, it was a very narrow hallway that all the doors came to that hallway. So, and
Someone told me once, and I don't remember who it was, but it was a relative that they had on the wall in the hallway they had the toilet seats, and each person had their own toilet seat.
absolutely, it was in the toilet. In the
Mm.
toilet, everyone had toilet seats, uh, and you're supposed to use yours. And also in the hallway, we had some kind of storage. Uh, like we built a little, shell
Mhm.
where we use it as a storage.
So what about like refrigerator and freezer?
We had a refrigerator inside our own. apartment in not communal, no.
And what did you do for laundry?
Now, that's another story because it was very hard to get a washing machine. And we, before that, we would have a huge tub and boil the water and then bring the water inside our room and wash it by hands. But then finally, we bought a little washing machine with no drying or anything. It was just the one that would boil inside, I mean, wash inside. But then when you need to just do the
Dr-
drying or
Dry.
whatever, there was a thing that you
A
put
crank,
your through that thing and you
a
dry
wringer.
it manually. Yeah, that.
Mhm.
And then in that little hallway there were some ropes that you
Mm.
put the
Mhm.
machines, yeah,
Mhm.
the things on
Did
it.
were you close with the other families?
Um, we were not, because they were not Jewish to start with, and one was pretty anti-Semitic, especially the older generation. The younger were my age, so they were kind of okay. We were never close with them, but we never quarreled. We didn't have any conflicts because some people had that before. I know about a lot of those things, even fights, and no, we were pretty kind of civil. Let's
And
put
how
it.
did you know that the older residents were anti-Semitic?
Well, because they said it.
What? What did they say?
Uh, Something in terms of those kikes, they're dirty or something like that. Yeah. But not to our eyes, but behind our backs that we can hear. So
Hmm.
that's why we know.
Hmm.
But another thing I need to add was at the very last day when we were leaving, we were sitting on our, um, you know, because each person has to take two suitcase. That was the limit. You cannot take anything else. So everything that you collected through your life, you have to pick up and put in those two suitcase. Um, like one example, when my husband was in the army, we corresponded for 3 years, both of us with each others. And I collected all his letters, and he did too. And we had a huge box of those letters. And when we had to leave the country, it was breaking my heart to
Hmm.
get rid of those letters. So I just picked just some by random
Yeah.
and put them in the suitcase. So that's an example.
Hmm.
But what I wanted to say was that the neighbors wanted to get in our apartment
Oh.
while we, yeah. So they
When they knew
started,
you were leaving.
yes, but they didn't wait till we are leaving. They started when we were still there. And it really was very shameful for me because my students, my former students, who came to see me off and were very nice, and because, we really, they were good. So one started just getting rid of the partition with the axe to just get through the wall. The other one was doing the same from the other side. So they were trying to get to, and I said to them, just wait, just don't you see that my students came to me and let us leave in peace? No, we cannot do that. So that tells you something.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so how did you decide what to take? What did you take and what did you leave?
Well, well, my husband was very good at packing. So what he did, he said, you guys think of what you think you will need and bring it here. And he made a huge, like, um, place on the floor, and we will bring something and put whatever we think. And he would say, okay, that will stay, that will go. And so that was how it worked. We never quarrel about it, never fought about it because I trusted him.
Mhm.
But what we had to take was some things that were, you know, some dear to us. Like, for example, my parents got two huge crystal vases on their silver wedding anniversary.
Mhm.
And to me, it was not the value of the crystals, it was the value of that memory. They are still with me, even though one is chipped
Who are they from?
from their best friends.
Mhm.
My parents, one was relative and friend.
Mhm.
Um, oh, you know, the Ribalov, remember that
Mhm.
name?
Yeah.
That was, yeah,
And so what do you still have that you brought with you
that
besides the
that thing. Then uh, there were a couple of things that people probably will laugh, like pictures. To me, it was very important. You know, the album,
Mhm.
it was the one that we decided we will take with us because it's our history.
Mhm.
And also books. But
Mhm.
books, we because we already have the family here in Kansas, so we would put them through post and
Mhm.
mail some of them,
Mhm. Mhm.
and some of them did go through, and some didn't. Some vanished somewhere. I don't know where. But
But those were books that in theory you could kind of replace or no?
well, again, it's your life. Like I still have Shakespeare's um, complete Shakespeare's books in translated into Russian, not in English, but into Russian, with all the sonnets and all the tragedies and everything, because that's what I did when I was working with um, children, and we would translate Shakespeare sonnet, um, different versions of 66 Shakespeare sonnets in Russian. And so how could I leave it? So I took
Now,
it with
do you
me.
have anything else that belonged to your parents or even your grandparents?
My grandparents, no. My My grandparent, I mean, I knew only my grandma, but she was 73 when she passed away, and I was a kid. And I don't think anything special belonged to her. So, no. But again, I have the pictures of my grandparents.
Mhm.
Yes, I do. And we brought it with us.
Mhm.
Yes,
Mhm.
but that's all. And
So,
what else?
so
Some,
going back to the process of immigrating, um, do you remember the day that you found out that you were accepted or able to move to America?
it was September of 1990, uh, because I know for sure that we had to, what happened was the Kishinyevsky, Lena and her husband, and Clara, they already um, received the refugee status, and we haven't. And we were kind of concerned that maybe they won't invite us for an interview.
Hmm.
The reason why was because the Ed's parents and brother immigrated in the 70s. So they received an invitation directly from them. And we didn't. We had to do something through Israel.
Hmm.
So it was a great kind of confrontation between me and my husband because I said, we have to leave the Soviet Union because we never know when the Iron Curtain will close again. We have to leave. It doesn't
Did
matter
he want to
where.
stay?
But no, but he said, let's wait. I don't want to go to Israel. I want to go to the United States. I don't want to to leave immediately because we could, since we got the um, invitation, we could start this process. But he said no. And then when we finally
So
in
everyone
September,
agreed that you wanted to leave, but the question was, where are you going to go?
exactly,
Mhm.
absolutely, yes, yes.
And where did you want to go?
I said it doesn't matter. We can go to Haifa or to Jerusalem because Tzipora lived in Jerusalem. Dalia lived in Kiryat Haim. So
Hmm. Uh-huh. But you were able to get, if you wanted to, you could have gone to Israel before you could have come to America?
no, it's either or.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh. So the debate in the family was, do we go to Israel or do we go to Kansas City?
Or do we wait
For what?
for maybe we'll get the invitation for an interview in the United States?
No, so that's what I'm saying. You were able to go to Israel. So the question was, do we go to Israel now or do we wait to see if we can go to the United States?
Yes,
And and Roman said, we're going to wait to see if we can go to the United States.
yes.
And you both agreed that that was the right thing to, that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah, because again, a part of his family was still there.
Mhm.
And apparently my family was also there. So, yes,
Mhm.
yes. And
So,
we
but
and we
again, when
thought
you found out that you were able to, I mean, that had to have been an emotional experience when you found out that you were able to go.
absolutely.
So tell me about that.
Uh, by that time, my mom passed away already.
Right, 1989?
Yes.
Yeah.
And but when we started, her name was still there. But my dad was um, he kind of got um, so maybe it was part of the grieving, but he kind of didn't pay attention to what's going on. And he let us do things, and um, we were very worried about him. And then um, he got sick with pneumonia, and it was a very emotional process for him. But then we had a guest from San Francisco University. I don't remember how she, um, I think she was recommended by Esther. Remember Esther, who came to visit a
Yeah.
number of years
Esther
before?
Wolfson,
Yeah,
Esther
I guess that's who gave her our address and phone number. So it was during Passover, and she came for a Passover Seder. And because my dad was very active in the synagogue, we kind of um, involved him in that process. And that kind of made him back to life. So to us, it was very emotional thing. So, but from September to Passover, it was a very serious moment for him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um,
So,
but and did you celebrate when you just when you found out? Did
well,
you?
we just celebrated my husband and I. Uh, we decided that we have to celebrate in a little vacation. So we took a weekend vacation to a resort place, and we stayed for a couple of days
The
there.
Black
Just
Sea or
yeah, of course. Odessa is on the Black Sea, and it's a resort. I mean, I don't want even to talk about it now because it breaks my heart how they bombed it.
Mm.
This huge, beautiful city. But yeah, that's what we did. We celebrated just the two of us.
Um, now, I mean, what do you mean? I mean, I don't want to bring up something that's sad for you, but I mean, you were so young when it was bombed. You don't remember what it was like before the war.
No, I'm talking about now.
Oh, now. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm talking about now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Mm-hmm. So let me take a step back for a minute. I want to talk more about the moving and the immigration, but you mentioned Passover and the synagogue. Um,
mhm.
can you tell me, first of all, what synagogue was it that you that your father went to that you went to?
Well, Odessa historically had beautiful synagogues in the center of the city, and but then they just took over the whoever took over those places, and by the time um, probably it was, I would say, in the 70s, they put the synagogue in the outskirt of the city in a very dilapidated building. And it was because the Jewish population in Odessa was pretty big, and still one synagogue for the whole population. I think that was after the first wave, the 70s wave of immigration, that they decided let the the Jews that are still there go to the outskirts. And my
Wait,
dad,
that was a punishment or it was a reward? I'm not sure I
No,
understand.
it was of course it was a punishment, and I think it was just the anti-Semitic uh, um, rule of the country by that time.
Hmm. Hmm.
So and my dad was very active
So there was
in that
one synagogue
one
for that huge.
one.
I mean, Odessa's a huge Jewish community, huge.
That's what I'm
I mean,
saying.
I don't know the numbers, but it must have been, I don't know, hundreds of thousands or something. I mean, could have.
Yeah, but
What was the
one
name of the
synagogue.
synagogue?
I don't even know the name of the synagogue. I
And
think
it
it
was,
was
I mean,
just
can
this
you,
synagogue, and
was
it
it,
was
what did it
it,
look like?
it was a kind of very sad building, gray and mm, no no celebrated ornaments or anything there. And the of course, because it was like an Orthodox, so for women it was a separate thing behind the little, like not a curtain, but little partition. Um, I was not allowed to go there because I was working at school, and you never know who is watching, who is there. So
What
after
would happen if they saw you?
I don't know. Nothing good. They might let me go from work. They might, you know, probably not arrest me, but definitely, for so many years, not just Jews, everybody lives in fear. They were afraid to do something that might not be taking well with the authorities,
Hmm.
and you really have to live there to understand, and right now what's going on with anti-Semitic protests, I can recognize it, because we were afraid to wear any, like Magen David or anything.
Hmm.
But now I can see that it comes back,
Yeah.
that fear.
Um, so you didn't go to the synagogue, but your father did.
Oh, yeah. My father was very
Was he
active.
was he no longer working? So he had nothing to lose?
Well, I think he was still working, but as I said, I don't know. He was pretty brave.
Mm.
Maybe he thought he really doesn't have anything to lose because he was in the military. He went through the war. You've seen the picture of him near the
Brandenburg.
German, yeah. So maybe that gave him some courage or something. But
So
yeah,
so there was the synagogue life. How often would your father go?
well, he would probably several times a week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and of course Shabbat. And we didn't celebrate Shabbat, but when he comes home, he was, sitting there, and my mom served dinner. It was like that, and we celebrated every Jewish holidays. It's interesting because you cannot go to a store and buy matzahs or anything. So what he was doing, he was the one because he was. It's called Gaba in Yiddish. He was a Gaba in the synagogue, so I don't know what it's not the president, but something kind of in the leadership. So he was responsible for baking. They were baking matzahs in the synagogue, and people will bring clean some clean pillowcases and put the matzahs there and bring home. So that's how we did it. And of course, for us, the Jewish holidays means more of a Jewish food, and uh, but Dad will tell us how it used to be when he was a young boy, how he would ask questions, and so I knew the whole process. But yeah,
What were the holidays that resonated the most?
I think Passover because maybe because it's now kind of resonates with me. I even wrote a poem in Russia about for us the Exodus had a different meaning for every Jew. It has a different meaning now, and how we were chosen to be. mm, Trying to be a splinter in the eternity, in the eternity's eye, but means that the Jews always were someone who will um, cause some hate or some um, enmity or anything. So and but then I said that we are proud of being Jewish and we're going no matter what. And when we read our Haggadah, we always say next year in Jerusalem. That's my Russian poem that I wrote.
You still have it?
Of course, in Russian,
You're gonna send me a copy?
of
I'll
course,
email you.
but it's in Russian. How
I,
can you?
I'll figure it out. I'll remind you. Oh. Now, what about Hanukkah?
We got Hanukkah guilt. That's I remember when I
Dreidel?
was no,
Menorah?
no dreidel. Menorah, no. Menorah, I don't even remember having menorah throughout my former life in the former Soviet Union. But of course, the minute I came to the United States, I have a beautiful Hanukkah. Have you seen mine?
No,
Oh, it's beautiful. I can send you a picture, I
I'd
think.
love to see it.
Yeah.
Did you have anything that was Jewish in your house, in your apartment?
My dad had talis and had I think he had tefillin, but I don't remember him wearing it at home. Maybe at the synagogue he did, but talis definitely.
Kiddush cup?
Yes, yes, yeah,
Mhm.
and we brought it with us. I can show you. Where is it?
Amazing. Amazing. Wow. The girls know about that?
I think most of it, most of it, maybe. Well, part of it they were there. And what's interesting, my Julia decided to do some graffitis on the walls in our apartment. So she drew a boy in yarmulke and said, well, I'm trying to remember the exact words. Something, goodbye, Russia, we are going away, something to
See you
that tone.
later, Tucker.
Something like that. It was so funny. Yeah.
How far did you live from the synagogue? You said it was.
Far away, far
Mhm.
away. It's, you know, like Odessa has a beautiful center and then some streets around it. But then there was a place where um, some um, some industrial places were there, and people who lived there were also kind of, you know, rednecks, corresponding to Russia or Ukraine, whatever. So very poor, very dilapidated place.
Hmm.
Um, it's called Piresip.
What was your address?
My address was Sverdlov Street, but now it's called probably differently because Sverdlov was a Russian revolutionary.
Mm.
Um, Now it's called Kanatne Street. And by the way, the building we lived in was built by a famous architect. And there is even a little plaque saying that it was built by him. Gansirovsky, his name, probably Jewish. This,
How many floors were in the apartment building?
three, three floors. And there were very well organized, like buildings in the shape of letter um, N, I would say, English N, Russian P.
Mhm.
And the probably originally it was a very interesting place. And of course, there were no communal apartments. It was supposed to be an apartment for one family with everything, but then they cut it in different corners and put us uh, and the apartment next to us in the building had a bathroom with everything and a kitchen and everything,
Mhm.
but we hadn't because it was cut in the middle.
Mm.
So that's how it was. But
How
originally
many
it was.
how many different places did you live in your life before, before coming to America?
Um, if we count the one when I was born,
Yeah.
um, it was one, but during the war it was bombed and destroyed completely. So when we came from evacuation, we didn't have any place to live. So we were invited to stay with some of my dad's relatives. And then,
Which relatives?
um, ah, okay, you know Sonia Rebalov, right?
Yeah.
Sonia had, I think she was her sister, Zina, or maybe cousin. I don't
Wait,
know.
actually, no, I don't remember who that is. Rebalos?
Rebalov, yeah,
Oh, yeah, that was Itka, her.
mom. her
The
mom.
mother was Itka, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sonia, yeah. So we
Wait, so
stayed
where's that family today?
in New York. I mean, the children, of course,
Yeah,
because
yeah. I
the
mean,
parents passed away.
Yefim and Ina,
Yeah, they
Sam.
and Sam. I very rarely I hear from them. I once talked to Ina and I asked if we can FaceTime, and she said sure, and then she disappeared. I don't know. I know that Sam's son was killed in Odessa, Nicholas.
Recently,
Well, maybe not recently, maybe 10 years ago.
before the war now. It wasn't from this
Yes,
war.
yes, yeah, it was probably some business dealing, Russian style, because he went there probably to arrange something. I have no idea.
So, so first of all, are the three of them still alive?
I guess, I guess so. I have
And
no idea.
and they all live in New York, you think?
They used to, yeah.
Hmm.
I
If I wanted to try and reach out to them, how could I do that?
I'm not sure. I still have Ina. Hold on. Let me see if I have her number. I'm afraid because they're not very open to, I don't know why. I know that they were very close together,
Hmm.
uh, but Sam um, always was like a business kind of person, and they thought that I'm not good enough. I don't care.
Norman Balo told me that he remembers his mother, you know, Itka's sister, one of she had like three sisters,
Hmm.
Leica and Bela. And Bela was Norman's mother. And they used to send them packages. And he
Oh.
doesn't know anything about that family. I don't think he knows that that I don't think I ever told him. But I don't think he knows that Sam or Yefim or Ina, I don't think he's ever heard of their names and they're first cousins.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
need to call
because
him. He's like
because
95 years old.
they were kind of.
But I mean, they are first cousin. I mean, he Norman Balo would be first cousins with Sonia and David.
Yeah, but since they passed away,
Right.
kids might not even know anything of that. I don't have her number. No, I'm sorry, I don't have her number.
Facebook. I'm gonna have to look on Facebook. I bet there's
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
LinkedIn.
maybe.
Um, so you after you were born, the where you were living, the apartment that you were living was bombed during the war.
Yeah, yeah,
And
we went to the evacuation in Siberia, and
when
then
was
when
this?
it was in 1941,
Hmm. Oh,
I
so you were
was
just one, you were just a
I
little
was eight
baby.
months old, yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, I don't remember anything. But when we came back to Odessa,
So you went to
after,
Siberia.
yeah, we went to Siberia after 1945, when the war ended. We went back to Odessa, and since the building was bombed and destroyed, we didn't have any place to live. So we stayed with Sonia's sister in one huge room. I remember that huge room, and we were like,
With Dora,
no, not Dora. Um, it probably was not a sister. She probably was a cousin. Not,
Xena.
yeah, Zina.
Hmm.
And then my dad came from the war, and because he was, an officer and all that, he went to find an apartment. And it's not like here, you rent an apartment, there is plenty of this. No, no, uh, you're given an apartment, and that's it. And so they gave him one room and the kitchen. It was one thing, and that was it. And we lived there, like me, my parents, my two aunts, and my grandma in one room. Then my dad found another room for my two aunts and grandma in the same kind of, not in the same building, but the building next to it. So it was very close.
Hmm.
And we lived there till I was 18.
Hmm. Do you know the address there?
Yes,
What was that?
it was Barovsky Street, or maybe now it's Malaya Arnautskaya, number 45. And I grew up there, uh, as I said, till I was 18. And then my parents um, found it's another kind of Soviet thing. They found people who would want to um, mm, downsize, who
Mm.
lived in that apartment with two big rooms. And so they moved to uh, that room that we used to have, and we moved there. So that was the exchange that has nothing to do with the government or anything. You just have to register and all that, but that's the
Meaning
place.
their children moved out, they were empty nesters, they were ready to
Yeah.
downsize. What?
Maybe, or maybe they were just old and could not really take care of it. And because they didn't have neighbors like this communal apartment, because there were a couple of neighbors in that apartment, but we didn't really pay much attention to it
Mhm.
because we were interested in some size. And of course, when I got married, we had some kind of separate room.
Hmm. 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 Okay, so that was until you were 18. You lived there. Then what happened?
Then I lived there till we
How old were you when you got
emigrated.
married?
How old I was?
When you
20,
were married, when you got married, when you and Roman got married.
23.
So
But
between 18 and 23, where did you live?
there in that apartment,
Wait, I thought you said you lived until 18.
in I live till 18 in that small one
Oh, and then you
bedroom
got to the
on,
bigger
and
apartment.
then we went, yes. And from that apartment we immigrated. Yeah.
Oh,
But
so that when you moved to the bigger one, so you lived in two different buildings your entire life in Russia.
yeah, yeah, you
I
can
mean,
say
three
that.
different apartments, but
Yeah, yeah,
or
you
or
can
I
say
guess in Siberia you lived in somewhere else also
that. Oh,
for
yeah.
4 years. So you don't know where you lived in Siberia, do you?
Well, I know it was a hut, and when it was winter and it was all snowed up, people from outside had to dug us out so that we can open the door. That I remember.
Who was living with you in the hut? Because your father
It
was away at
was
war.
my mom and my two aunts, my grandma, and from time to time there were other people. I don't know um, who exactly, because people didn't have place to live, so they will stay with you for a while. Then they'll find some place and go and live there. So yeah,
What is a hut? What does that mean?
it's a small wooden place where it has a small window and a door, and that's it.
The floor was made out of wood,
Probably not. It was made out of kind of um, I'm trying to think the English version of it. Mm, the one that you made some jars
clay.
from. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
So,
So we'll put some kind of um, some um, rugs or something to make it livable. And then we put mattresses on top of that, and we all lie in
and what
on the
was the roof
floor.
made out of?
It was also wooden like this,
Hmm.
like a hut.
Hmm. And was there a fireplace or a
No.
stove? Like
It was, yeah, it was a
what
stove,
did you do for heat?
and that's what I'm saying. It was like a little um, iron stove that you can put mm, some wooden chips there, and on top you can put a kettle and make food. That's what it was. It was terrible.
And was everyone working?
Yeah, they were working, and I was staying with my grandma. And
So did the government move a lot of industry to Siberia during the war to get it out of the
yeah,
uh-huh.
right.
What were they
Yes.
doing? What were their jobs?
My mom, it was not an industrial place. It was more like a farmer's place, so to speak. So my mom was um, driving two um, oxen at the very beginning, because there was supposed to be a special order who goes to the right and who goes to the left, and she didn't know, and she tried to put them together, and it was the wrong way, and they turned the cattle on the floor because they didn't go the right way. But finally she learned how to do it. So that's
What were
what
they
she,
pulling?
um, they were
A
trying to
wagon or
get,
like a plow?
no, it was not, it was mm, like a wagon, but not a wagon. It was just a flat thing. And she would put mm, some
So they were to
small,
transport. The point that she was
yeah,
transporting things
some small things on it, and will drive them to
from the
one
field,
place and
whether it was like
from.
radishes or potato or something,
No, it
wheat.
was not. It was more um, like when they did the when they try to collect the branches of the trees. So she would take small branches and make a
Mhm.
thing and put them
A
on
bundle.
that thing and drive them to the place where they collected it. And some of them she will bring home so that we can make it in the little oven.
The
That's
perks of the job. She could bring home twigs
oh
from a tree.
yes. But the other the my aunt, she was not a nurse, but like a nurse aide. So she was working in a hospital, and the other one was working in some kind of a um, food where they made milk products, some dairy products. So
Which aunt was which?
um, Dosa
Mhm.
was a nurse's aide, and Esther was working in the dairy make.
Um, while we're on the topic of your aunts, um, can you just talk a little bit about them, and maybe also the story about her, her burn?
Yeah, sure. Um, they were, let me see. So Esther was the oldest of the three of them because Manya was the oldest. Esther was the oldest, then my dad was 2 years younger, and Dosa was 2 years younger than my dad. So when Esther was around 4 or 5 years old, um, she had a cattle and she probably tripped or something and put
So the way I heard,
hard
they had like
pork.
an open fire in the middle of the,
Yeah,
like it was
and
like a pot or a something.
yeah,
It wasn't
and
like on a stove. It
no,
was like in an
she
open.
took it and then she tripped and put it on her face and ear. What part of the face, not all of the face, but part of the face. But by the time I knew her, she she always was having like this part of the hair covering part of her face and her ear, but the rest of her face was very beautiful.
She was beautiful. She was absolutely beautiful. All of
Yeah,
them. All of them. Your entire
yeah,
family is beautiful. I mean,
yeah.
your father
Thank
was
you.
very handsome. Your
Oh
aunts were
yeah.
very beautiful.
You know,
You're like
my
every.
my father had a nickname of Gypsy because he was so dark and dark hair and kind of darkish face. So he was called Gypsy. But um, Esther was very smart, and you know, her wit was so sharp. And maybe because she was not very happy, of course, because she I don't know about her romantic life because I didn't witness any. But I know for sure that her younger sister had a fiance, but she could not leave her sister, and that's why she didn't marry. So they were together. They were very devoted to each other. And my dad
And they
was,
died very within a couple years of each other.
yeah, and my dad was very close to both of them, to the point where my mom was always jealous.
Oh.
Yeah. And Probably after, well, I don't know how, maybe before the war they had their professions, because I know that Dosa worked as um, an accountant or something else, very um, highly estimated. She worked for many years in one of the same place and was a very good professional. Fira, on the other hand, was very good as a seamstress. You know, in Russia, it was very popular to have some kind of, they were called atelier mode. So there were some kind of places where people can come and order a dress or a suit, something like that. And it was very popular, and really, some of them were good designers, I would say. Uh, Sophia was the one who worked for males department. She would do the um, uh, trousers and the suits, and it was impeccable. That's what I know.
Now, if I remember correctly, your father was born in Zarivka.
Yeah, all of them were born there.
Okay. And how far was that from Odessa?
I have no idea, but
Okay.
probably very close.
And why did they move to Odessa?
I would think, again, no one told me. It's just my assumption that my grandpa, because the whole family was very industrious, if they could afford for Manya to go to Warsaw, to university, I would assume that they were
Manya went
there.
to Warsaw for university?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and then where she met her husband, and they became Zionists and went to Palestine, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
So I assume that they were pretty well-to-do people.
But he wasn't Polish. He was from Bessarabia. He was Moldovan.
Who?
Her husband, Manya. Michal. He was.
Yeah, well, maybe he was also in the university, and that's where they met.
Hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, what I assume was that my grandpa was afraid that because in Russia, when um, they were making collective farms, and people who were pretty well to do didn't want to collect, they wanted to have their own business. So they would become they would called the enemies of the state, and they would take everything from them and take them to Siberia, and it was the end of it. So I believe that he was afraid that that might happen. So he took his family and decided to go to Odessa. And
What did he do for a living?
I have no idea.
Well, I
I
mean,
have no,
if he was concerned about collectivization. Does that mean that he had a farm?
that's what I'm thinking.
Mhm.
I think either a farm or some kind of a business, you know, because
I guess
Jewish,
collectivization affected not just the farms, it affected all the businesses.
all all businesses that deal um, with farming,
Agriculture.
agriculture, and
So it wasn't
cattle, and
so it didn't affect tailors, bakers, things like that.
well, it depends. If they were having their own business, that business can be just taken by the government.
So it really affected everyone, not just agriculture. all businesses.
Yeah, and especially big businesses. Yeah, of course. That's uh, that's their motto was rob the robbery. So
Whose
the
motto?
Soviet revolutionaries rob the robbery. So they think that big businesses are robbers of the poor people. So they allow them to get everything from them. That's what happened.
Now, your grandfather, Avram, and his brother Yisrael. Um, I I heard that they were shoemakers.
Maybe I have
And
no
the way I
idea.
was told was they were in business together and
Hmm.
they made shoes and they would give people in the shtetl that didn't have shoes, that couldn't afford it, they would give them shoes. They would make them shoes. And when they're walking down the street, if they saw anyone that they made shoes for, they would switch sides to the other side of the street so they wouldn't embarrass them to see them.
It's very nice. It's good to know because I have no idea. No idea whatsoever. And my dad never met. See, when you are young, it, for you, it doesn't apply because what you're doing is so amazing because you started it when you were young. But when we were young, we were so stupid. We could ask so many questions, and now we don't know the answers.
You know what? They were also very difficult times. And it's people were just trying to get by, like it's not the same. It's just not the
Yeah.
same, I mean, you can
And
always
I,
ask questions, but it's still people there was a lot of pressure there's a lot of things going on. People weren't
yeah,
thinking about this.
but my dad never said about my grandpa's business or anything or why they moved to Odessa. It's
Hmm.
just my assumption because I know what happened in the country. That and I believe that that probably was the reason why they decided we better. But I wonder why they didn't go to the United States.
Hmm. Now, okay, I know it's getting late. I've used up my time, but let me just ask you, um, Yisrael, in your cousins, Anna and I guess his children. He had three children: Esther, Label, and Anna, or maybe Hannah. Kushnevrik, Kushnevik.
Kushnirevich,
Yeah.
Kushnirevich.
Um, first of all, is that right? That there were three children? Does that sound right?
I know about two sisters, Hannah and Esther. I have no idea
Can you
about
tell me about them?
not much. I know that Hannah had a husband, Kushnirevich, Michael, and he left her with three children and found a younger lady and married her.
She was also beautiful.
Well, apparently not beautiful enough for him
Mhm.
because he left her. And she was very bitter. By the time I knew her, she was um, not very happy at all. And the younger boys, Lev and Leo, or Leonia, we call him. My dad really took care of them. He helped them very much. He even would go to school to talk to Lev's teacher, you know, and he would come to our apartment and have lunch with us. And, you know, he was very close. And the younger one too. The older Maya, she was, by the time her dad left, she was already a teenager, maybe like 16 or more years old. So she was very close with the father. She would go to visit with him and all that, where the sons took mom's side. They didn't want to do anything with the father. So at one point, Lev would call my dad father, which my mom was very opposed to. So once he said it, but then it didn't happen. And he was very close to me too. Like he would, because he was a couple years older, he would take me on bicycle rides with him, or once I became a teenager, he would take me to movies with him. So we were kind of close. Um, Maya went to work. Uh, she went to the university and got a teacher's degree and went to work as a teacher of Russian language and literature. But uh, she was not very close to the other part of the family. And then she got married and had a son. I think Alex is in the United States now, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Because she didn't want to go.
Well, I mean, I don't know Alex. The only one I know is Victor.
Victor is Leo's son.
Yeah. So Victor's the only one that I think I've been in touch with.
I see. So what happened was um, um, Leo emigrated to the United States with his wife, Rosa, and then probably, I don't remember how long after that, um, Lev decided to do the same. So he and his wife and his daughter emigrated to the United States. And at the beginning, he was corresponding with us. But then he said something that was very tragic. We found out that Leo committed suicide. I still don't know what happened. I heard that it was some kind of a um, fight between the two of them, and I don't know.
Between the parents?
No, between the brothers, Lev
Oh,
and Leo.
oh. That was in Houston, right?
Yeah, he was in Houston. I couple of times I talked to him on the phone, but he sounded a little, not very much demented because he knows who I am and all that, but kind of not altogether.
Mhm.
Uh, but I have no idea what happened to his daughter or to Leo's children because they never talked to me. I don't know.
I mean, so you never spoke with Vincent or Jonathan, or I guess it
No,
was Vincent and Victor, right?
I have no idea.
You never spoke with Victor?
I never spoke with Leo's children. No,
Oh.
because as I said, they cut all the ties with us. We were still in the former Soviet Union,
Hmm.
and plus they were very young. They might not even know Russian language.
So, okay. I want to talk more about that, but first I just want, and I'm going to let you go. Just maybe we'll have to reschedule. But there was another brother, Mordechai or Muttal, um, who was a brother to Leka and Itka of Bela.
I have no
Yep.
idea.
You don't know about him. He was
No.
one of Moshe and Chana's children. So you just know the two, Itka and what were right, Itka and Leka, something like that.
Yeah, but they're not Hannah's children. They're
No,
not.
not Hanushah. They were Moshe. Who's who are their parents?
Whose parents?
Itka. Who is Itka's parents?
I don't know. I know Itka was Sonia's and Dora's mother. That's what I know.
Right. So I'm pretty sure that her father was Moshe, and um, Moshe's brothers were Yisrael and Avram. I think there were
Oh.
I think there were three brothers and a sister was
Mm-hmm.
Fega, and
Mm-hmm.
Fega was married to Coleman, who was my great great grandfather. And
Uh-huh.
then
I see.
um, okay, so um, this we did a lot. We talked about a lot, but I didn't like
Yeah.
get to like most of my questions, and I didn't get to any of the pictures. So we have to reschedule for another time. This is,
Okay.
and I'll when I can get you when you're fresh again, give you a chance to like think of more stories to share with me, because you're gonna be like, oh, now you're gonna be thinking, and all these. Oh, I forgot to tell you about this. You're gonna want to hear about this one. You're gonna have some good stories for me. So you have to remember, like maybe take some notes, write down. These are the stories Todd's gonna want to hear. Um, but with your blessing, I really want to try and find them. And I think it'd be amazing for us to all maybe jump on a Zoom. Would you be interested in that if I could find them?
I will be, but I'm not sure if they will be.
Okay. All right. Maybe
From
they're
my
children.
point, they are not very interested in
Yeah.
knowing because
Yeah.
I believe I told Ina about you and all that, but I'm not sure.
Wait, Ina?
Hmm.
Um,
Ina is Sam's and Fima's sister.
mm. Oh, Ina. Yeah. Okay.
It's
Right below, or how do you pronounce it?
Rebalovs. Yeah.
Okay, so all right, I'm gonna ask one last question for this will be a good closing thing. After
Okay.
talking about all this, everything, your life and all the ups and downs in Siberia and the apartments and make what is the moral or the lesson or the message that you'd want to give to either maybe God willing maybe grandchildren or cousins or my family that we were always in America. What would you want to share? What's one of the messages of what you experienced that we should know about?
I think, especially today, it's more important of us to hear the stories of what socialism means to to the society, and that we've witnessed anti-Semitism first hand, and now we recognize it. So, what's important for us Jews is to stay together and be strong and still be proud of what we've achieved as a big family, because I think we all are looking at your tree. If you continue the tree, it'll be a huge family that all of us are together.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Love you.
We'll
Okay.
we'll be in touch because you're not
Okay.
off the hook yet.
Say, say hi to your family and again, mazel tov to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon. Thank you.
Okay. Bye. Bye.